Homestead Orphanage for Children. Now, the Homestead Orphanage opened up on a good enough note. It was a wonderful woman who came here to take care of these children. She was a war widow. Her husband had died right here in Gettysburg. She came here with her 3 children, and she was the first mistress of the orphanage, and she loved these children. She took great care of them. They were well fed, well educated. It was like being at home for them. She was loved by the children. She was loved by the townsfolk. And eventually she was loved by another man because she did remarry and move on. That started a much darker chapter to the orphanage. No one knows where she came from, and no one knows where she went. Because after the death of at least one innocent child, and it was rumored there were many others, she was run out of town. Her name was Rosa Carmichael, and Rosa despised children. She wasted no time making their lives absolutely miserable. The things she would do to these little children, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old children, is amazing how a mind can come up with that. She would lock them in a horrible dungeon down in the cellar for days at a time, shackled to the wall. So dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. No food, no water. She would lock them in an outhouse overnight in the dead of winter. She locked the little boy out one night, and a man just happened to be taking a shortcut. He passed by the outhouse and he heard a child crying for help. Help me, please, please, someone help me. He goes over, unlocks the door, and to his amazement, there's a child there. No jacket, no sweater, no shoes, nothing, and it's freezing cold out there. He takes that child and he takes him to a doctor, and that doctor said, if you'd been just a little bit later, that child would be dead. Well, Rosa was taken to court, and you can find that. It's a matter of court record. It was in the papers. She was found guilty. She was charged with 6 counts of child cruelty. She was found guilty of 1. She was fined $20, made to put her hand on the Bible and swear she wouldn't do it again. And she went back to be the mistress of the orphanage. Unbelievable as that is. Then one day, a little boy escaped. And he told the story of a little boy dying that morning at Rosa's hand. Okay, there you go. Anyway, so I hope he doesn't come running over here. I'm getting on this table, just so you all know. Anyway, so he told the story of a little boy dying at Rosa's hand. So the people were concerned. They came over and they went, Rosa, where is this little boy? And she said, oh, he was sick this morning. I had to take him to the doctor. And they said, well, where is he now? Oh, he had a bad stomachache and he died. Where's his body? Oh, I buried him just a little while ago. Where is his grave? Oh, I just can't remember. Again, she was arrested. Again, she was taken to court. Again, she was fined $20 for the life of this child. But when she came out this time, the townsfolk were waiting on her, and they ran her butt out of town. Now, if you Google Rosa Carmichael, you will find nothing on her prior to coming here or after leaving here. We don't even know for sure that's her real name. There's nothing on her. So you can imagine these children with all of this going on. They're still here, folks. The children are very much here. They're here in 3 of the places I'm going to take you to tonight. And Rosa also is very active. The children, this would be their side yard right over here to the orphanage, and they're very active over here. Folks walking through will see the children, they will feel them, they will hear them. And I'm going to give you some instances of that right now. There were a couple gentlemen, and they were staying over here at this motel. Anyone staying there by any chance? Well, you might want to after this story, okay? Not me. Straight across from me on the upstairs, that very first room there were 3 gentlemen. It's about midnight. They're outside on the balcony, and they're talking about their day, perhaps, or making plans or whatever. It's dark over here, not a soul over here. All of a sudden, they hear, help me, please, please, help me. The sounds of children crying for help. They come running off that balcony past the front desk. There's no one there. They don't wait to find help. They come running over here and looking. You know how at dark sometimes you can't really tell where that sound's coming from? Well, they looked all around. They finally decide that sound's coming behind a padlocked iron gate over here, which is the backyard to the orphanage. They walked over to that gate, big full moon out that night. They walk over there and go, where are you? We won't hurt you. We're here to help you. And the children just keep crying, please, please, someone help me. Where are you? Can you come out? Can you see us? The children just keep crying. They don't see anything. They finally decide one man's going to go for help. The other man's going to try to find a back way into that backyard. The third man's going to stand there and talk to these children and try to get them to come out when all of a sudden, dead silence. Are you still there? We're here to help you. They stay around there a while. They don't hear anything more. They finally go back up to their room. They sit out until 3 o'clock in the morning. They don't hear another thing. Then they go to bed. But the next morning, you can bet, they're down asking at the front desk. They're asking the folks over here, what happened to those children? Did they get help? Are they okay? Everyone was able to tell them. What you heard were those orphans crying for help, as they've been heard many times before and many times since. So if you do stay over there, you might want to keep your window open tonight. I want to tell you another story about a lady that used to run Smith & Kringle, this shop right over here. It was toward the end of tourist season, and she's there, and she's waiting on a customer at the counter. She glances over at the big window, and there stands a little girl, with a button, old tiny dress on, and the little girl's just peeking in the window. The lady glances away for a second at her customer, looks back, and the little girl's gone. Kids are fast. You don't think a whole lot of it. A couple weeks go by. Tourist season's over. It's deader than a doornail around here. And again, she's at that counter, and she's wrapping a package to send through the mail. And as she's wrapping the package, she glances at the window, and here is the exact same little girl. And this time, she gets a really good look at her. She's maybe 6 or 7 years old. She can even see the freckles on her face. The little girl has her hair in pigtails, and they're braided. The same outfit on, and again, she's just peeking in the window. This time the lady makes eye contact at her, smiles at her, and the little girl disappeared right in front of her face. Now, she's heard the stories of the orphan, but you don't want to believe your eyes when you see something like that, do ya? No. So she comes running out here looking all around, and of course there's absolutely no one there. But after that first time, and after the time she saw the little girl disappear, she'd see her again from time to time. But every time she made eye contact with her, Ghost dog. Not really. Anyway, I want to tell you another quick story. Apartments are hard to come by here in Gettysburg. And I want to tell you a story about a man that I call him Jim. Not his real name, but it's a perfectly good name. So Jim moved here from out of town. He needed an apartment in Gettysburg. Now, come on, we can't compete. So Jim did get an apartment, and it was right back here on the second floor. All of these buildings around here, the second floors are apartments. So nobody told Jim diddly squat about any orphans, okay, before he moved in. And he was from out of state. So Jim one night was going to the grocery store, and during tourist season, parking's at a premium. So he had to park across the street when he got back from the store. It was just after dusk, and he had his arms loaded with groceries, and he's walking past this horse and buggy on the other side over here. Totally empty over here. Comes walking along, and right there, at the foot of the horse and buggy is a little boy. And the little boy has a stick, and he's down drawing in the dirt with that stick, just drawing. Now as Jim walks by, he thinks, you know, this little guy's awful young to be here all by his... Little boy's gone. Okay, it's kind of weird, but Jim thinks, you know what, I'm preoccupied. His parents had to have been there. He was very young, and they got him and they left. He went and put his groceries down, went back out for the last load. He came by the horse and buggy again, and it's pretty dark by now. Again, his arms are loaded with groceries. He walks by, and sure enough, right there in the exact same spot is the same little boy. Again, he was down with a stick, just drawing in the dirt. Now, Jim got a better look at him this time. And the little boy had pants that were cut off just below his knees. He was barefoot. He had a white homespun shirt on. He had suspenders on. Had sandy brown hair. He looked to be about 8 years old. And this time, Jim's concerned because it's dark, and he went and went, son, are you okay? Do you know where your mom and dad are? Do you need some help? With this, the little boy looked up at him, stood up, dropped his stick, and disappeared. Now, Jim dropped his groceries right there where he stood because he wasn't expecting that. Of course, he went looking around, not wanting to believe his eyes, and he didn't see anyone. Went back, got his groceries, went up to his apartment, locked the door, because you know that'll keep him out, right? Yeah, good luck with that one. Anyway, let's hope he had a nice bottle of wine in there, because I think he probably needed it. But I don't need to tell you that Jim never walked through this village again. Once he found out what he had seen, he would walk all the way around the block if he had to park across the street. And by the way, he did not honor his lease. He was out of here. We're going to go across the street here in a couple seconds. And folks, we're going to cross the street one time. Gettysburg has a rule. I call it the speed bump rule, and here's your speed bump. And here's the way it works. I'm going to walk out the middle of the street. I'm going to leave you all safely on the sidewalk. I'm going to stand in the middle of the street, I know, and hold my lantern up and try to stop traffic. Now, I have a plan A and a plan B. Plan A, they stop. I like plan A. I'm going to motion you folks safely on across. Okay, plan B, they don't stop. I'm a little mush in the middle of the road. Couple of things. Number one, I will be back. Number two, I have a cell phone in my purse. My ex-husband's phone number is on speed dial. Now, about 3 o'clock in the morning, would you hit that speed dial and give him a call and tell him you're with Internal Revenue? He likes that. I'd appreciate it. So are you folks ready to begin our adventure?
Yes. If
you have any questions at any time, please feel free to ask. If I know the answer, I feel smart. If I don't, it's not a good question. Okay, are you all ready?
What do you have?
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering.